The top 5 worst PBS kids show video. This is currently the most popular video in party TV history. I'm really nostalgic for this video, and I had a lot of fun making it. But just like all my other videos from 2022, it aged like spoiled milk. It's honestly insane how much my opinions changed in the span of 3 years. Almost none of the shows that were on the original list made it onto this remake. Trust me, those shows are nothing compared to the garbage I'm about to talk about. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the top 5 worst PBS kids shows. The real ones.
Caillou, Caillou, I'm Caillou. That's me.
Look, I know what you're saying. If Caillou's only number 5 on this list, then the other shows must be terrible. Well, kind of, but it's complicated. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't really hate Caillou as much as most people do. Don't get me wrong, this show is bad. Caillou is an annoying brat, his parents are useless, and the messages are mixed at best. But that's the thing, you've most likely heard these criticisms like a gazillion times from a gazillion other YouTubers. There's nothing new I can bring to the table. It's bad, but it's not even worth talking about. Now, if we were judging these shows based on how well they teach kids, this would be number 1, but as a show, I really don't care for it. The only reason I even put it on the list was because I got a lot of comments asking me, why isn't Caillou on the list? So there you go, Caillou is now on the worst list. Moving on.
Perfect! Let's zoom into another comic book adventure! Right behind you, Superboy!
My opinions on this show have not changed one bit. It's still awful. I don't even like the original Super Why all that much. It's fine, but there's nothing really special or interesting about it. The super readers jump into books to help the storybook characters, and that's it. But this reboot makes the original look like Bluey in comparison. I will say though, one improvement this show does make to the original is the animation. The 2D animation in this looks way better than the original where every character looked dead-eyed and lifeless most of the time. But yeah, that's the only good thing about this show. Now it's time to trash it. This show added a new member of the Super Readers, Power Page. And yeah, she's pretty much the main character now. What? You thought Super Y was gonna be the main character in a show called Super Y's Comic Book Adventures? Are you nuts? But yeah, she sucks. She has such a boring personality, and my god, she is one of the most overpowered characters in all of fiction. You may think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. With her power pencil, she can do literally whatever she wants. Want the trees to be taller? Power pencil. Need to defeat a villain? Power pencil. If she wanted to solve world hunger, she could just write, "Stop world hunger," and boom, problem solved. But honestly, I never get tired of making fun of Power Page. Her incredibly boring personality mixed with her godly powers makes her a surprisingly fun character to meme about. Also, the show significantly decreased the runtime from 20 minutes to just 3 minutes. And yet somehow, it feels even longer thanks to its unbearably slow pacing. But I mean, the original show also had ridiculously slow pacing, so at least it's staying somewhat faithful to the source material.
Is this the word spring? Let's read it. What letter is this? S! S! And what sound does S make? S, S. And what letter is this? P! P! What sound does P make?
Honestly, there's a lot more I can say, but this segment is getting way too long. Let me know if you want me to do a re-review of this show someday. Now, I know what you're thinking, is this show really bad enough to be on a worst list? It seems like just a generic PBS kids show. And yeah, that's exactly the problem. This is one of the most boring and tedious PBS kids shows I've ever seen. And given their current lineup, that's no small feat. And what makes it worse is that this show had such a great premise. 3 kids go inside the titular video game called Skillsville where they explore all kinds of careers and develop life skills. That's an awesome concept for a preschool show. It opens the door to so many different possibilities. But instead, the writers decided to play it as safe as humanly possible. Now look, playing it safe isn't always a bad thing. If the show still has strong characters and solid writing, it could still be a fun watch. But no, it has the most boring characters ever, going on the most boring adventures ever, and learning the most boring lessons ever. When you're making a preschool show, you have to put entertainment first, and education second. It's important to teach kids lessons, but it's more important to entertain them so they'd want to learn. This show puts education first, and entertainment, never, because not once was I entertained watching this show. I didn't laugh, smile, or even think, oh, that's pretty interesting, once. There is nothing good I can say about this show. But honestly, I can't even hate it, because there's nothing to hate. But there's nothing to like either. This show is nothing. There are shows I hate more, but at least they're memorably bad. I would rather watch a show that makes me feel negative emotions than a show that makes me feel absolutely nothing. This show is so forgettable that I forgot literally all the characters' names. And I don't care enough to look them up. Now let's move on.
Teletubbies!
What even is this show? How did it get so popular? Or better yet, how did it even get approved? What insane person thought this would be good to air alongside actual quality shows? The best way to describe Teletubbies is that it's Cocomelon, before Cocomelon was a thing. This show has absolutely no respect for children's intelligence. It has no plot, no character, no substance, it's just noise. The whole show just consists of these brainless, barely comprehensible aliens doing whatever the heck they want, with no sense of structure or meaning. Maybe if these were like 5-minute shorts, I wouldn't mind, but no, I had to sit through 20 minutes of this crap. 20 minutes of nothing but mindless garbage. And don't even get me started with the character designs. Again, how did this show get so popular? If I saw these dead-eyed things as a kid, it would have given me nightmares. I've seen a lot of bad kid shows, but I've never seen a show that has such little intelligence. And before some of you say, oh, it's just for toddlers, toddlers would watch anything. No, that's not an excuse. Kids, regardless of how old they are, deserve better than crap like this. There are so many kid shows out there that have great writing and endearing characters that treat kids with respect. But this is exactly what kid shows get stereotyped as, nothing but colorful fluff moving across the screen to shut your toddler up. And I hate that so much. And now, before we get to the number one, let's get to some honorable mentions. These are the shows that were on the original list, but got taken off. And I'm gonna explain why I took these shows off the list.
We all belong at Hero Elementary!
I actually used to watch this show a lot when it first came out. I kinda had a love-hate relationship with it. The show was honestly pretty lame for a superhero show, with very basic stories. Most of the time, the solutions to the problems are so simple, and so obvious, yet the characters spend the whole episode trying to figure it out. That level of stupidity kinda makes the show ironically hilarious. But here's something that really bugged me, and it still does to this day. Why doesn't this show have any villains? How can you make a superhero show with no bad guys for the heroes to battle? I'm not saying that every show needs a villain, but if you're gonna do a superhero show, you need at least one bad guy. That should be a rule. So yeah, not good, but far from the worst.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor, Daniel, Tiger's neighborhood.
The other day, I was watching a few episodes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I gotta say, it's really good. Instead of relying on bright colors and annoying voices to keep the kids entertained, it's just about a genuinely nice guy teaching kids how to be good people. Kids today would probably find the show boring, but I really appreciate what Mr. Rogers did. Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood on the other hand is fine. There's honestly very little I can say about this show. Daniel Tiger learns about kindness and stuff, and that's it. I appreciate them trying to carry on the legacy of Mr. Rogers, and as is, the show is inoffensive enough I guess, but man, is it forgettable.
He said to Nancy, come and wander with me.
Why on God's green earth did I call this show a Sid the Science Kid knockoff in the original video? These shows have practically nothing to do with each other. What was my 2022 brain thinking? But yeah, this show is fine I suppose. I actually really like the art style. It's soft and pleasant, and it reminds me of a classic PBS kids show. As for everything else, it's really nothing to write home about. It's kind of charming, but nothing really sticks with you. And I'll probably forget about it in about a week.
Someplace else is the place to be with our pal Donkey Holy. Yee-haw!
It's actually really rare to see a kid show that uses puppets. I think this and Sesame Street are the only ongoing shows that use puppetry. But other than that, this show is fine too, I guess. The characters are likable enough to where you'd want them to succeed, but they're not really that interesting. You've seen these personalities before in many other preschool shows. This is a perfectly fine kids show that I have no strong opinions of whatsoever. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The number one worst PBS kids show is
Pinkalicious, Peter, Pinkalicious, Pinkalicious.
Yep. After all these years, this is still the number one worst PBS kids show. When I revisit a show I reviewed a while back, my opinions usually change. I used to think that Sophia the First was one of the worst Disney Junior shows ever, but now I consider it one of the best. But as for this show, it's just as bad as I remember. Now, why is this show number one? What makes it worse than Caillou, Super Wise Comic Book Adventures, and Teletubbies? Well, let me put it this way. Most bad preschool shows have one major problem: they're either annoying or boring. Caillou is annoying, Comic Book Adventures is mostly boring, Skillsville is also boring, and Teletubbies is incredibly annoying. But this show manages to be both annoying and boring at the same time. It's annoying because of the grating voice acting and the preachy dialogue. And it's boring because, well, nothing happens in this show. Not literally nothing, but it feels like it. The conflicts that happen are so uneventful that it makes paint drying look thrilling. The main character, Pinkalicious, what the heck kind of name is that by the way, is an incredibly boring protagonist. She's just the typical happy-go-lucky protagonist you've seen in like a million other kid shows. And the other characters are so bland that I forgot all their names. And the less said about the songs, the better. The messages are preachy, the voice acting is insufferable, the animation is. Actually, I kind of like the animation, the storybook aesthetic looks nice. But that's all the compliments this show gets. I guess it's inoffensive, but it has absolutely nothing to offer. And that, my friends, is why Pinkalicious and Peterific is still the worst PBS kids show ever made. All that aside, I want to make this clear. I have nothing but respect for PBS. They made so many quality shows over the years, and I plan to do a best list in the near future. But with Donald Trump defunding them, they've been going through some tough times recently. But that doesn't mean they're out of the game just yet. Let's give them hope that they bounce back, so they can continue to make quality programming that people will remember for years to come. Anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think the worst PBS kids shows are. And until next time, party on.